Howdy, y'all. So this evening I'm going to talk to you about finger picks. If you're a bluegrass banjo player, there's at least like an 85% chance that you have heard the term Prewar National Oval 8's before. You know, the old National Oval 8 picks are kind of revered as the holy grail of bluegrass banjo picks. And I mean, sometimes if you get an original set, they're like $300-400 for a set, and not everybody can afford that. So, manufacturers identified that there is a need to fill that gap, bridge the gap of affordability for Oval 8 picks, because when you say Oval 8, banjo players, their ears perk up and they're like, huh, Oval 8's where? So there's tons of replicas of Oval 8's out there. I won't name any brands. I've got another set of picks right here that I'm going to use as a comparison, sort of, to show you differences in these. But I ran across this guy named Ellery Marshall. I saw a reel of him playing the dirtiest, nastiest lick to Some Dark Hollow out of the D tuning that I believe I've ever heard. So I followed the guy. And then I noticed he's making an Oval 8 replica, and I put in an order and bought a set. His company is called Vintage Banjo Works, and he's calling these Magic 8's. So I'll get into kind of my critical analysis of these versus another Oval 8 replica, and I'm not gonna give any names of what this is, but some of the issues with this pick are a commonality with other picks that are supposed to be Oval 8 copies. So this is the Magic 8, and this is the other, these are $48 a set, and so are these. They're same price, everything. These aren't some big extravagant expensive thing. They're right on par for boutique picks. So if you look at this Oval 8 replica, you can see that spoon, that blade is really curved. It's got a lot of curve to it, and that was not the case with a lot of the old Oval 8's. The blades were a lot flatter like this one. And if you look, it's hard to tell, but there's a visible difference in the thickness of these two materials that these picks are made out of. And that was the first thing that I really noticed when I put these Magic 8's on. I was like, holy moly, these things are light. Like, do I even have picks on? So I thought that it might have just been in my head that I was all vamped, got that new pick, that new pick excitement, and I'm trying to find things to like about them. But then I got out a set of digital scales. I build banjo bridges and make particular weights of bridges. And I stuck one of these other ones on the scale, and it was 2.82 grams, but the Magic 8's are 2.4 grams. So two picks, that's it's just a smidge under an entire gram of weight difference. And Ellery, me and him talked a little bit about it, and he paid close attention to detail on these. The most sought after ones of the original Nationals had the thinner material, and I believe he actually might have even sacrificed a few original Oval 8's for a metallurgical analysis to get, the nickel silver makeup that the originals were. And he's done a heck of a job. Real quick before I forget, I'll put one of these other picks on and I'll show you something I really like about them. If you look, the bands on this pick, which is not a Magic 8, that whenever I pick, that pushes back into my cuticle because that band is kind of, closer to my fingernail. But that's not the case with the Magic 8's. The band is just so comfortable on these. And the bevels on everything. The bevels on the edges are so smooth. There's no scratchiness. I really didn't have to play these in. They started out sounding like they do right now. Disclaimer, I'm not a professional banjo player. I play a little bit of everything. I build banjos. I've worked for a manufacturing company that makes banjos as a luthier. But I'm not a professional banjo player. But I will play a little bit for y'all so you can kind of hear some of the qualities that these picks have. Now, something that he describes in the little pamphlet that you get in your picks, he gives you one of these Ultex picks with your order, because they really do. They're like the perfect recipe. They're so even. That's some of my issue with some other National Oval 8 picks, because I mean, I'm dead set. I'll never quit using Ultex picks. These are it for me. And you know, a lot of the other picks are just too mellow sounding to go with this, and it's either got more mids or more bass, and you know, you can tell a difference between notes that you play with your thumb versus notes that you play with your index or middle finger with some of those, and that is not the case with these. They are. I've always kind of been bad to play hard, and I think I'm realizing that is part of the picks that I've been using, because with these flat blades like this, you can really play softer but still get bite on the strings. I mean, I'm just barely. Let's see, and they do really good up towards the neck too. See, I told you I'm not a professional. These things are sick, man. Y'all are going to be hearing more about these. More and more people are going to start raving about these picks. They are just great. But But anyway, y'all should definitely check these things out if you're into picks and are a banjo nerd such as myself. I know there's a lot of us out there. Gabe was kind of the king of the banjo nerds, and I know we all miss him, but I know that Gabe Hirschfeld would be shouting about these things from the rooftops. He always talked about how the blades were wrong on almost every replica that was out there. So, Ellery, man, you got these things right. Yeah, these things are good. I probably won't be using anything but these from now on. So, if y'all want to add a little bit of magic to your tone, you know, check these out. Now, you know, some people talk about how, oh well, you know, a set of picks isn't gonna make you a better player, and that is true. You know, a set of picks isn't gonna magically make you play better, but it will magically change the sound of your playing, and it will magically make the way it feels when you're playing, the whole ergonomics of everything. So picks do make a difference. So y'all give them a try if you're into oval 8's. Oval 8? Y'all have a good evening.